You know what? It's pretty interesting listening to all of these ignorant MAGA people just lie, 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 lie. One of the leading liars is JD Vance. And they love saying stuff as if there's no such thing as video. So JD Vance goes on Fox News. And he's talking to one of the most ignorant, racist, sexist people on the network, Jesse Waters. And he says this.
I know you've been asked about this before.
Come on.
Jasmine
Yes.
Crockett says, yeah, she calls people Hitler, but it doesn't mean she's responsible for any violence that happens.
Well, I'd ask Jasmine Crockett, what is it that you want people to do when you call them Nazis? What is it that you want them to do when you call them fascists? What is the proper response when you say that Donald Trump and JD Vance and Charlie Kirk are threatening your safety? What do you expect people to do? This rhetoric is completely out of control, and it's part of this entire network of violence that exists on the far left. You dehumanize your political opponents. You fund paid activists to go and harass them and terrorize them. We've had a White House senior staffer just in the past week who has had actual representatives of the Democratic Party going around passing leaflets trying to get his neighbors to harass him and showing people where he lives, where his wife lives, where his young family lives. If that's not political violence, if that's not political harassment, I don't know what the term means.
Interesting. He talked about people on the left inciting violence by mentioning Hitler, mentioning fascists. That's interesting. Because when JD Vance used to have no facial hair, I recall JD Vance saying this.
As somebody who doesn't like Trump, myself, the elites were right about Donald Trump, right? I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him. I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place. If I feel like Trump has a really good chance of winning, I might have to hold my nose and vote for Hillary.
Terrible candidate. Idiot if you voted for him. Might be America's Hitler. Might be a cynical a-hole. Cultural heroine. Noxious and reprehensible.
But I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place. He's leading our political discourse to a very negative place. If Trump is elected president, he has to be a much different president than he was a candidate. As a candidate, he was fundamentally divisive, arrogant.
Maybe Crockett was quoting JD Vance. If y'all could see the stank face on Reese's face right now, y'all be cracking up laughing. No, Reese, you had a stank look on your face. You wasn't smiling. You had, he playing that clip, you had a stank look. Okay, so y'all heard JD talk about, what do they mean? They're inciting people to use fascists. Didn't his boss say the same thing? Yeah, I think he did. Roll it.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists. And it's a choice between communism and freedom. No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. It's the enemy from within. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist. She's a fascist. These far left fascists, led by Harris and her group. If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage. Divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists, led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this woman. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
Isn't that interesting, Joy? So they complain about Representative Crockett and the Democrat, but they use the same language. So, like everything, nothing applies to them. It's always just the other side that's wrong.
That's right. If them being a fascist is not a reason for political violence, then my calling them a fascist is not a reason for political violence. It is okay to have a different take and to say what you think and describe what you think is going on. None of the political violence that is out there is to be put on anyone else but the person who did it. Okay, I just don't subscribe that we're going to say every time someone says something we don't like that they are the ones causing political violence. I have been doxxed recently. I will tell you, it is not fun. No one should have their personal information put out there. That is not right. That's wrong. Okay, no one should have that. I don't care what party you are a part of. But being able to say what people are, this is what they have always believed. Charlie Kirk, we just talked about that. He said all manner of things. And now it's us that's inciting political violence. Think about what Donald Trump said after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked. Think about the dismissiveness with which he approached the Minnesota politicians who were killed and attacked. That most certainly is not someone who should be lecturing to anyone about anything. And as far as this person that we know we're most recently talking about, he came from MAGA.
Right.
Those were his parents. That's the community in which he was raised. That one's on them. This was not someone who was raised as a progressive, raised as a Democrat.
The thing here that just trips me out, Reese, is that, and this is where mainstream media for me is a joke because they let the lies go. They let the Scott Jennings of the world come on. You have nothing but liars. I mean, it's so pathetic. Like over at Fox News, Sean Hannity just lied last night. Even talking about Jimmy Kimmel. Then you got that fifth-rated hack, Joe Concha. Hannity goes, I don't know of any prominent conservative that called for Jimmy Kimmel to be fired. And then Joe Concha goes, me neither. There's no evidence. Oh, Trump. But again, that's what they do. And so it is always attack, attack, attack. And this is why I keep saying, if you're a Democrat, stop trying to play a civil, nice, my dear colleague, the honorable so-and-so. No, you are in a fight. You are in a battle-rama. There are no rules, so stop playing like there are rules because you're dealing with people who do not care, who will lie, cheat, and steal to win.
Yeah, I mean, Republicans want to have a conversation about who says what more. They want to have a conversation about what ideology is more violent, knowing damn well they're the more violent ones. That's why they had a report taken down from the DOJ that called out white supremacist extremism and violence and its impact on the United States. And so this is having the conversation on their turf. They don't want to talk about gun control. They don't want to talk about mass shootings and how not banning assault rifles is leading to the proliferation of mass shootings, including at schools and at churches and other things. They don't want to have a conversation about the Epstein files, which they're trying to bury. They don't want to have a conversation about this impending budget showdown in which they're willing to shut down the government to deny healthcare subsidies for people who have Obamacare subsidies. They don't want to have a conversation about anything substantive. They don't want to have a conversation about how grocery prices are astronomical. They don't want to have a conversation about how the jobs numbers are tanking, about how Donald Trump does not have a plan to get this country back on track that he fucked up with his nonsensical policies. They would love to spend the next couple of weeks talking about Charlie Kirk, talking about censorship, talking about the radical lunatic left, instead of talking about the damage that their policies are doing every single day in America that they cannot gaslight people away from the impacts of.
Listen, Greg, you got Sinclair television group saying that, oh, if Jimmy Kimmel wants back on the air, he's going to have to personally apologize to the Kirk family and make a donation to Turning Point USA. This is where ABC, and I know they're one of the affiliates, but this is where ABC should tell Sinclair to go to hell. But again, the right plays a different game. They want to, you say the phrase you use all the time, they want to break the backs of their opponent. Their opponent wants to just pat them on the shoulder and say, hey, how you doing?
Yes, sir. It's a poignant moment. We might even want to thank these rabid white nationalists for forcing this country. I mean, how many times have we all said in one form or another that they took civics out of high school? We don't learn civics. Well, now the whole country is getting civics lessons. They're understanding continuing resolutions, rocket dockets in the Supreme Court, all kind of civics education. Mm-hmm. But the one lesson that black people, the one lesson that black people don't need to be taught, but well, maybe there may be some exceptions. I don't know, but I won't go into that. That was early in the show. Is that, this country is not a nation. And so the mass news entertainment media is owned by people who are also soft white nationalists. So ABC, NBC, CBS, certainly ABC at this point, ABC Disney has just unveiled themselves as CBS. It's not only that they're not going to stand up, for all intents and purposes, they go along with this stuff. This is the propaganda that they kind of go along with. So the only way you can respond to these people now is to punch them dead in the face. And I'm talking, of course, about symbolically, rhetorically, politically. So when they say to Jimmy Kimmel, they say, well, Kimmel, you apologize. If he apologized and wrote a check for every penny he's got in the bank, it wouldn't be enough. Then they'd say, we still not putting you back on. We've made an example out of you. Jimmy Kimmel, if instead he said, not only am I not going to apologize, I'm not going to honor the remaining year of my contract, and I'm going over there like Mehdi Hassan did, and I'm going over with Colbert. We're going to be bigger than all of y'all because legacy media is about to die. Oh, see, their thing now is we are going to, as we heard earlier, control the whole mass news entertainment media. The Ellisons going to buy all this stuff. Then they're going to buy the movie house that they can, Paramount Global. They'll take over the film. They get CNN. But guess what? What if we say, you know what? Why don't y'all go and do what y'all going to do? And we're going to take all this offshore somewhere else. As long as they can generate some platform to keep their base mollified, keep them coddled, they think they can continue to whistle past the graveyard of demographics and politics. But you keep saying this, Roland, and we organize, we go out here and organize to our strengths and our numbers, this whole thing goes away. It's incredibly short-sighted. I agree with what Eric Swalwell said today when he was saying whether or not the Democrats would do it or not, they got to find some teeth to do it. But he said, all you people that are doing all this work for the FBI and all this other stuff y'all doing, y'all make sure y'all save y'all emails and save your records, because in a couple of years, less than 2 years, you're going to be in here before our committees, and we're going to have some questions for you, and maybe that'll lead to something else. Donald Trump, you may not live to go to jail. Pam Bondi, Propaganda Barbie, doggone Christy Nome, Mr. Cash Patel, we do what we supposed to do. You put them guys on Front Street, and damn ABC, damn CBS, damn the broadcast networks.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't have any faith that Democrats, if they regain the House, are going to actually do that. I don't.
Yeah.
Reese, I see the look you make it. I just don't. I just think, I just don't think it's in their nature to be that petty, to go that hard. And again, they want to play by a set of rules in a game that no longer exists. The game and the rules no longer exist.
That's right.
And it ain't coming back. And so if I hear another Democrat say that, oh, the Republican Party of is gonna come back. Hillary said that dumb shit. I said she was wrong. Joe Biden kept saying that dumb shit. He was wrong. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I see what's going on. But that's what's happening. So I'm telling you right now, folks, and this is why I keep saying, and again, all y'all people who run y'all mouths, no, this ain't about no Democrat shield. We fight for black folk here. And we see what's going on here. And so here's what I'm saying. If you got some weak ass Democrats who ain't ready to swing, primary their asses and boot them out.
That's right.
Because if you need folk who are going to swing. The reality is, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, they are the largest caucus in the Democratic Party. But I'm sorry, the CBC don't go as hard as the Freedom Caucus does. and they're twice as large. And they're twice as large. And what I'm saying is, you need folks who gonna swing.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.